Hey guys, welcome back. So I don't normally shop at Harbor Freight Tools. I have in the past, years and years ago, and the quality of the tools that I've gotten from there are just not, they're not commercial grade. They'll last for a little while, but ultimately they're of poorer quality and they will fail on you. I will say that I have a dust collection system that I got from Harbor Freight that is amazing. It really is. It's amazing. It's a great machine. The only trouble I've had with it was the switch did go out on it, but that's true about all of my shop vacs, 2 of my sanders, which are all DeWalt and Milwaukee and whatever. So, power switches, I mean, when you use them like we use them, power switches go out. You just toggle them back and forth for too long and they just wear down. But today is Labor Day, and Harbor Freight had this welding cart on sale for 40 bucks, basically. And we're gonna do some videos over the next couple of days. We just got a handheld plasma cutter, a very, very cheap Amazon, $160, $170 plasma cutter off of Amazon to try it out. And we also got a Yes welder, a multi-process Yes welder that we're going to tinker around with as well. And we'll make videos for those. But what I don't have is a welding cart. And I'm actually gonna need 3 of these because I've got the Yes welder, I've got the that little Amazon cheapy plasma cutter, and then I've got my Razor Weld 45 plasma cutter that I use on, or that we use on the Langmuir Crossfire Pro. So, and I don't have any carts for any of them. So ultimately I'm gonna get 3 of these, I think. But I wanted to start with 1 because it was on sale, and I thought, gosh, 40 bucks. Let's see if it's worth a damn. So let's open it up and put it together and see if this thing's sturdy at all, and whether it's worth 40 bucks. All right, so I've got everything opened up. I've got the vertical uprights, the shelves, the rear upright, as well as the base. You got your 2, they are 6 by 1.5 inch wheels, your axle for said wheels. We've got some chains to hold in your tank, your argon tank, your argon CO2 mix tank, whatever. And then you've got all your hardware. All the hardware comes in one bag all together. Not a big deal. Usually I like to see companies part out or bag their parts by size and by application. But for this thing, all of these look the same. They're these hex head bolts that they're all the same. There's no lock washers in here. There's no flat washers in here, aside from these 5 flat washers here that I'm assuming is probably going to be for our axle, but we'll see. So anyways, everything's here, everything's in good shape, nothing's bent up. It looks like we've got all the parts. Let's go ahead and put it together. All right, the first step is we're gonna put the axle in along with the wheels. And like I suspected, these flat washers, these silver flat washers are for this axle here. They sent us 5. The diagram, there's only 2 wheels, but the diagram shows, the diagram actually does show the washer here, but they don't do a real good job of telling you that that's what to put there. If you could tell, the washer's there, but they've got it butted up all the way up against this steel tubing here that makes it look like it's a flange that's part of it. It is not, it's a washer. So we'll put that washer on, put the wheel on, another washer, and then you're just gonna secure it with a cotter pin right through here. And we'll go ahead and bend that up to lock that in place. And do the other side. Okay, with the back two wheels on, they want us to put on the front casters. Again, they did not supply any lock washers. I would want lock washers, I think, on these. I always use lock washers when I use casters, but they didn't give us any flat washers. They didn't give us any lock washers for this. All they gave us were these hex head bolts and the nuts that go along with them. For safety's sake, I would always want to see a lock washer on these, and a flat washer on one side and a lock washer on the other side to keep it from loosening up over time. So I'm going to tell you right now, these are not lock washers, or lock nuts, they're just regular nuts. This is going to loosen over time. This is going to be something that I'm going to have to tighten up almost all the time. So anyways, let's put these casters on. All right, I've got the front casters on. As a general rule, whenever I'm assembling anything at all, I never tighten anything down until the end. I'll get everything on finger tight, but I don't ever tighten anything down all the way. Because most everything that you have to assemble will tell you that somewhere in the manual. They'll say, you know, put these screws in, but don't tighten them down yet. And that's because ultimately when the thing goes together, you need to get it square. And once it's square and flat or whatever, then you're going to tighten everything down. So the next step is to take these side uprights and we're going to install these. Again, no flat washers, no lock washers. I'm going to end up probably picking up, no, I'm definitely going to pick up some flat washers and some lock washers, or maybe even lock nuts to replace these that are here, because I don't want to have to tighten this thing up all the time, which I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to do if you don't have lock washers on here or lock nuts, and that's just a headache, and I don't want to do it. So I will eventually replace these with some locking washers. All right, so on here, they did give you a little picture as to where this one goes, so it makes it pretty easy. This one goes on this side here for this vertical support, and we'll go ahead and attach that. All right, we'll do the same thing with the other side. Okay, in case you're wondering, our bolts are in. This is why you don't tighten anything down until the end, because being in this position and being in this position are two very different things. And if you had tightened these down all the way, when you got the other pieces back on, nothing would fit together. Now, putting on these, after we've put on these vertical supports here, the instructions basically stop in terms of providing any photos. That is the last photo that they give you, is to put on these side rails. Now it's kind of up to you. You can use this kind of exploded parts diagram to figure out where everything goes. But that's where they end with the photos. They tell you what to do, but they don't give you any photos. And if you're a person that needs photos, bad news for you. So the next thing is to attach the middle shelf to the right and left supports. And they are not marked. So we'll go to the parts list and find the middle shelf. The middle shelf, there's two shelves in here that are roughly the same size. One of them has a lip here on the bottom. The other one does not. The other one is just a flat piece with no lips in any directions except down. This is our middle shelf. And it shows that this shelf is actually going to go this way with the bent pieces or the bent pieces of sheet metal going up. So I guess we can put parts in here. The two holes go to the front, and we'll go ahead and put these in. All right, the next step is to attach these hooks, which again, the manual mentions 2 hooks. I would not have thought these were hooks initially. I would have thought that these were brackets of some sort. So you've got to go from the manual part, the assembly part, over to the parts list to find out what the heck they're talking about when it comes to hooks. But that's what they're talking about, these. And we're going to use these 2 bottom holes here in the vertical rails to attach these hooks. All right, so both hooks are on. I do like that they gave you 2 hooks. That way I can have my MIG torch on one and my TIG torch on the other, or basically my arc torch, and have them separately and not have to coil them up and put them down here. Or if you're using this for an oxy settling kit, you can hang your oxy hoses over here and use the other parts for your torches. Okay, so now we've got that in. The instructions tell us to attach the back panel to the bottom shelf. And so the back panel is going to be this guy, and we're going to have our tabs, our bent sheet metal, pointing in towards these vertical rails. And we'll attach these. It's pretty self-explanatory. This only goes in one way. You do want to make sure that in your keyholes here, right, you don't want these like this, because these are going to hold your chains. Your chain's going to slip down in that notch. So you want those with the bigger hole up top and the slot running down. All right, so now they want us to attach everything to the top shelf. This is the first that they've mentioned, the top shelf, but the manual seems to insinuate that we've already put it on, which we haven't. So we're going to take this top shelf, and again, I've got to look towards the parts list because they didn't provide it, photos. And we're going to basically screw these in like so. Okay, so I've got the cart all put together, but nothing's tightened down yet. And you can see that because nothing's tightened down, this thing moves quite a bit around. And this is the problem that I'm going to have with this over time, because they didn't, or it would be if I didn't replace these nuts. These will loosen up over time, and that's what this cart's going to do. As you're rolling it around the shop, these bolts are going to loosen, and you're going to end up with a welding cart that's just super shaky. There's also, I don't know if you can see it, there's nothing to keep this thing square. There's nothing to keep this back square to the bottom. Really, you're relying on these just 2 bolts here, these 2 bolts here, to keep this thing kind of square, which, I don't know, it's cheap. It's cheap. It's what you get for 40 bucks. But anyways, I'm going to tighten everything up, and then we'll throw our, I've got an argon tank, throw the argon tank on here and see how sturdy this thing is. Okay, so I've got the thing together. Everything's tightened down. I eventually switched over to my pneumatic ratchet because there were just so many freaking bolts. So that made pretty quick work of it. I don't know, it's pretty sturdy. For 40 bucks, I mean, you can't even go out to eat for 40 bucks anymore. So I think it's totally worth it. Is this something that I would cart around a job site? No, because like I said, it's gonna loosen up. It's not gonna take a whole lot of abuse, but for my home shop, it's gonna be great. Here's my argon tank. We'll just throw this up here. That's gonna go like that. Your chains will slip into this, this slot. All right. The chains will just slip in here and lock in with that slot. A little low for my tank. If I had maybe a 40-pound tank, that would be sufficient. Yeah, that's about useless right there. All right, just barely. Well, it looks like, yeah, if I force it, yeah, actually that's pretty good. I was able to get that tight, those chains tight on here. So for this size tank, I don't remember what this is 60 pound? I don't know, I don't remember. But anyways, so my tank's on here. The thing's pretty sturdy. Overall, I think it's a great buy. All right, that's pretty much it. I think I'm happy with it. You'll see us using this cart as we do our videos on our cheap plasma cutter from Amazon and our Yes Welder when those come, when we get those done. And I'll let you know how this cart's holding up over time. Thanks a lot for joining us, and if you like, please subscribe, hit that like button so you can see all of our videos as they come out. Thanks, see you next time.